Sauti ya kilimo, mifugo na uvuvi.
Tanga Yetu ni programu ya kuwezesha vijana iliyowezeshwa na Foundation Botnar. Management ya programu hii ni Esrf. Katika programu hii, AKM GLITTERS Limited ndio inayotekeleza mradi huu.
Wamefundishwa theory wakiwa kule Tanga jiji kwa ajili ya siku 4. Then wamekuja hapa katika eneo letu husika kwa ajili ya kufundisha zaidi kwa kutumia vitendo. Kwamba huyu kuku yuko hivi, kwamba brooder iko hivi, wanakulaje, wanalewaje vifaranga, wanahitaji centigrade ngapi wiki ya kwanza, na dawa zipi ambazo zinafaa kwa ajili ya kufanyaje ya kuwapa wale vifaranga wetu. Kwa hiyo mpaka leo unavyoona kwamba na siku ya 13. Kwa hiyo wameshapata chanjo ya awali Newcastle plus IB. ND plus IB, yani Newcastle pamoja na dawa za mafua kwa ajili ya kuwakinga vifaranga. Na zina utofauti kidogo. Kuna watu wengine wanatumia Newcastle plain ambayo haina chanjo ya mafua.
What is trying to say that on the practical session they are being trained. Usually we have a vaccination program. We have approved vaccinations for Tanzania. We have Newcastle. We have Gumboro. We have Fowlpox and IBD. So on producing the vaccines, some of the vaccines are combined. This is Newcastle and IBD. So what is trying to say that IBD is for the respiratory diseases. So it protects the small chickens from contracting with the coryza, which is one of the highest killing disease in poultry. So we need to protect them. Yeah. So what is saying that they usually get a training 2 weeks before theory, before they get into their poultry sheds. So once they get into their poultry sheds, they're being trained. They transform the theory into practice. That's what he's saying. But then the other thing that he said, we were expecting to have 50 youth, but now we have 33 youth. We had 50, but some of them thought it was tough. They left. So we are expecting to receive 18 as a replacement because it's still early. So we cannot allow that position to go. So we've requested them we usually get them from the development officer at the municipal. Sometimes when youth hear about these projects, they just come. But then, sometimes you need a lot of mindset change programs, and that's what we are doing. So for the rest, they are here. They can speak for themselves in Swahili, and maybe I'll translate. And we've also recruited him for, he will be with them every day because Hamim has to move. He has to go to another area. What he was trying to share with you is that they had to prepare a brooder. This is a brooder, okay? So they were involved to build these ones, to connect them, so that they control the angles. That's what he was trying to tell you. And then he was trying to tell you that they had to use the litters. So he was telling you that there are 2 types of litters. He was telling you that we are using rice husks because it's easy to manage and they are very easy. The litter is always supposed to be like, they have to turn it and it has to be dry. So if they had used wood litter, that was going to be bad for the chicks. That's what he was trying to share with you. But then the other thing he was saying that these chicks needed temperature, hot weather. So they are using these pots. They are using these pots to maintain warmth. So you can even try. Yeah, so there is a little bit, yeah. So they are using these ones, and then what he was trying to tell you, they are also using temperature to record temperatures in the chicken houses. So he was trying to share the knowledge they've learned so far. That's about the chickens, the brooding. But he also said that these chickens are going to be brooded for 4 weeks. They are going to be vaccinated by all the vaccines that I shared with you, and then they are going to be sold to smallholder farmers. So the impact will not be on them. The impact will be on smallholder farmers buying these chicks. So that's what he was trying to share with you. But then he also said he thanked you for the funding, because it's very good for them. Previously, they did not know anything about poultry keeping, but now they know. And they were requesting for, of course, expansion for other youth. But then they are saying they have challenges, but the challenges that are going to be addressed on transport and meals. So far, we are giving them 5,000 every day from the company to kata for transport, 2,000 and 3,000 for meals. And they are saying that 2,000 is not enough. So we should consider and add more on transport and meals, because some of the youth dropped because of the cost of transport. That's what they are saying. So now I'm coming to your question. Now it's the right time. We have 3 parent stock farms, and we import the breed from broiler. India is the only country that breeds broilers. The African country that breed a certain breed compared to broiler is Nigeria. They call them noilers. So in Tanzania, we are the only company with permission from the ministry to bring in this parent stock. So we have about 30,000 parent stocks. And we support all farmers around Tanzania. That's our first investment. The second investment that we did is the hatchery. So from the parent stock farms, we collect hatching eggs and place them in our hatchery and hatch them. The third investment that we did is the animal feed. Now we had a challenge from farmers that the quality of feeds produced outside there is not quality. That's why we decided to solve that problem. So we've invested in feed mill, and we prepare all sorts of animal feeds. So what we thought, distance from villages to the agrovet, where they can get quality medicines and vaccines and drugs and all the farm inputs for poultry, is very difficult. So our company designed a model, whereas we support these groups or individual, and mostly we work with almost 1.2 million smallholder farmers, and we've created this kind of brooders, about 480 all over Tanzania. So 480 brooder, we call them brooder units.
This is a unit or this whole thing?
No, it's just one. It could be all if it was being owned by one group. Then we could say these are batches. But then they are owned by different groups. So we take it that they are group-owned brooders. So it's one brooder, one brooder, one brooder, one brooder. One group has 10 people. So what we try to do is to make sense out of brooding. They have to sell for profit to make sure that it's sustainable. So all over we develop these brooder units. The brooders must make a profit. So what we did a gap analysis in poultry value chain, and then we did costing, so that we could realize where is the support and where they can break even or make profit. So all our brooders makes profit. This is the first month. Come next week, these groups have profit. They would sell each chick at between 4,500 and 4,500 Tanzanian shillings to 5,000 per chick. That means each group will make more than 1.2 million as profit. Now, from this particular project, because we wanted to save the seed that we received from Botnar. So that seed that Botnar had invested for supply, we want to ensure that at the end of the project, it remains here. But how are these youth going to benefit? They'll benefit from training, and then every month, each one of them will get a salary of 70,000. We discussed with Esrf and Mr. Mshinda to make sure that they have meals and transport so that we don't have dropouts. And we also, when we sell, we are going to open an account to make sure that all sales are being managed from that account. They will be managed with in cooperation with Esrf to make sure that the money is being used properly. And then once they get the 70,000 as a salary, the remaining, the part of the seed, the investment will remain, and then the part of the profit will open their group accounts. That means they'll get salary, but the remaining profit will open their bank accounts. They will not be allowed to touch that account until after 6 months, whereas we will hand over their account to the group members, and then we will connect with the municipal for them to access loans. That means from here, they will be able to establish their own businesses. That's the first model. The second model that we are trying to develop, and we also shared it with the Esrf, is that this is a first phase. It's just brooding for 4 weeks. For these chicks to grow, to be ready for meat, they will need 2 months. Two more months, that means 3 months. Then by that particular time, each chicken will have, for females will have 2.5 kilos, for the males will have at least 3.5 kilos ready for meat. So the second level, we were thinking that to construct double size these units, or 3 times size, so that we can brood them to a second level where they will keep the chicken, rear them to lay stage and to slaughter stage. So we'll have 2 sets, because the chickens naturally it's 50% males, 50% females. So females can be selected for egg laying. An egg laying business can take up to 18 months. That means more sustainability. For the meat, it will only take 3 months, and they have to get rid of them. So the business, to finish the investment of the business cycle, we need a second layer for 3 months, and then we will need a slaughter layer, and then they will slaughter and put it to the market as packaged. So there are 2 options. These groups may graduate from here, move to another level, while the other group comes in. They move as they graduate and move out. So that's our thinking, and I think that will be very sustainable for this project. But then at the end, when they reach at a smallholder level, we are also going to solve, if they live here now and go to smallholder level, it will not be a business at smallholder, but it will be a solution for nutrition, for example, or food security, for example, because sometimes smallholder farmers do trade, barter trade. So those are some of the ideas that we presented to Esrf. If it's good, and if it's we plead with you if we could continue investing along that value chain, and at the end of the day, we will have something like incubation center. As we are speaking, AKM Glitters is also working with VOAG. VOAG is an online TV. We started sharing Esrf the videos, the farmer videos. We are now getting calls all over Tanzania. They want to be part and parcel of this project. So the thinking is, if we tell them that we have an incubation center in Tanga, you have to pay for the services. That means incubation center may turn into a paid up incubation center. So the project that we are doing, AKM Glitters is doing a lot of innovation around it to make it sustainable.
Can you tell us more about the market that the both broilers and I guess eggs are being from your hatchery sold to? Is it local, regional? Tell us a little bit more about the market linkages and how much of it has been pre-sold before starting a lot of this, or any contracts?
First of all, this month the sale is done. The chickens are all booked up. For this month, all females are booked up. We only have cocks for meat production that are remaining. And second month also, all females are booked up. So we only have females to go with it. So we are also afraid because we also had some visits here and people want to book already. So the market is open. We have a lot of rural farmers who are in need of accessing broiler breed. They get fake breed out there. So for Tanga, I think it's an opportunity for them. But if we brood them, if we rear them to the level of eggs, say for example egg laying, at this particular moment, we need eggs in the market. There's a scarcity of eggs in the market. All over Tanzania. So it doesn't matter they produce in Tanga, we can get the market in there. We have a huge market in Zanzibar. Okay, so the orders that, for example, at AKM Glitters that we cannot supply in terms of eggs is huge, and at AKM Glitters we only supply eggs when we bring in new flocks. So the market is quite clear for eggs. For chicken, we have scarcity of chicken. If you're talking about COVID 2020, 2021, it has an impact on 2022. Literally, borders were closed for 14 months. Poultry companies could not bring in parent stock. And once the borders were opened in December 29th, I think, December 2021, all parent stock companies could not bring in 100%, including us. We could not bring 100% of our capacity. Why? Because the planes were not 100% operational, but at the same time, when you're bringing in parent stock, you can't bring them all because of space in the crafts. So we have a huge need of chicken meat at the moment. Yeah.
You do the selling, or you have brokers, or who do you go to sell?
For us, we just advertise and we sell.
And who, the supermarkets?
No, mostly you cannot sell at the supermarket if you don't have a certified abattoir. So we sell as whole chickens, and the brokers are the agents are the ones who are coming and buy. Yeah.
Is the pricing different from the local chicken? Like the normal one?
Both chickens are in need.
Yeah.
The pricing, no. These ones are fetching very high prices. At a farmer level, you cannot get these chickens at 10,000. This thing I'm telling you, they fetch from 12,000 to 15,000. If they keep them at the right time of 18 months, they even fetch 25,000 Tanzania shillings. For example, us, when we clean a farm, 2 weeks, 30,000 beds down. We sell them at 12,000, 30,000. 15,000.
Is there different in taste?
The taste is different. It's if you start eating broilers, you cannot eat local chicken. You tried them, eh? Yeah. You can't eat local chickens. They are not too tough. They are not too tender. They don't have the smell, the scent of the white broilers. And because our feed, we don't use, for all our farmers, we don't use sardines. We only use soya. So soya is very good for diseases, it's very good for protein. It's also very good for the scent of the meat. Yeah.
So if I want to taste the meat, is there a local place that...
Not in Tanga. I don't know. I have to check the data. The data, yeah.
Thank you very much. So you just said, because you're vaccinating these chicken with a lot of different vaccines. First question, where do you get the vaccines from? Are they Tanzanian produced or outside? And then the same question actually to the food you're giving them. You just said it's soya. So is that soya maize? Is that locally produced here, or where do you buy these substances?
Yeah. We buy maize, and we buy maize from smallholder farmers in Sumbawanga, in Dodoma, Kiteto, Mbeya, Songea. So we believe in discussion. Challenges in these projects, you know, when you're trying to develop a project, there are challenges sometimes they don't have. So that also was in the plan. Washroom was in the plan. But when you're talking about poultry, it's all about compliance, you know. Because if we don't have compliance, we are using people's toilets. They bring in bacteria from there, and they bring them into the house. And if we were not carefully using the disinfectants here, I think the chickens would have very high mortality rate. But as we are talking, 0.8% of mortality. That means it's profitable. All added chicks are not yet done. The 165 chicks. We still have them. This house has how many? 13. This house has 13 mortality. This house has 16, 15. Oh, 15, 23. 23, 15, 20. This one is 25. That one, 16. The other one, as you can see, the mortality is very low. This is the second week. We are going to third week. Fourth week, we are selling. So these infrastructures are very critical. But when the chickens are growing, we now start, creating, an eye of theft. We don't have a fence, but Mr. Mshinda is working on that. All these problems, Mr. Mshinda is working on that with Esrf. So, yeah. So, but as you can see, they're very. They had their issues. They still have their issues, but we speak to them. We still change their mindset. We still tell our stories, how we came up with all these investments and how we train people. Now they appreciate. I was speaking to them before you came, and they were like, oh, if you bring in a second level, it is us that will manage. That means they've already, they have the urge to own their business. Yeah. And it's only been 2 months. Yeah. So thank you so much for your contribution. And Mr. Mshinda, thank you so much for the support. Esrf, thank you so much for the support. Yeah.
Should I speak in English or in Kiswahili? Co.Ltd. Vipi jamani? Kwanza tunawapongeza kwa hatua ambao mliofika kwa kuweza kumaintain hadi mortality rate imekuwa ni ndogo sana. Hongereni sana. Lakini najua kuna changamoto kwa sababu mwanzo wakati tulikuwa tuna design mradi, tulikuwa tunafikiria ufanyike kule mnapotoka. Mfano kijana mmoja anatoa eneo pale nyumbani kwao, basi tunatengeneza pale poultry house yetu pale, mambo mengine yote yanakuwa yanafanyikia katika level ya household. Lakini moving the project kutoka kwenye level ya household kuja kwenye common facility, nao kulikuwa kuna challenges ambazo tulizovalue, mkaanza mapema kabla ya kusolve zile changamoto. Lakini kama tungekuwa tumeziona mapema zile changamoto, pengine mngekuwa bado hamjaanza tunashughulika nazo. Ambapo changamoto moja ambayo tuliovalue kulikuwa ni kuna issue ya toilet, kwa sababu kule nyumbani si mngeingia kwenye vyoo vya nyumbani tu. Lakini kwa hapa sasa kuna hiyo changamoto ya toilet. Lakini kwa kuelewa kwamba kuna issue ya security lazima tuweze maintain katika hii site. Kuna issue ya kuzungushia fence kwa ajili ya security, hata unaweza ukalaza vyungu nje hapo. Lakini kwa sasa hivi kulaza chungu nje kila saa lazima utakuwa unachungulia. Ya, lakini pia kuna sehemu ya kujifunzia. Lazima inahitajika mkae sehemu mjifunze. Hata kama mvua inanyesha mnakuwa kama ni rest place yenu hapo mnapumzika na vitu kama hivyo. Lakini issue nyingine kuna issue ya maji. Kuna issue ya umeme. Naona madamu alisha solve, lakini bado tunaendelea kuhakikisha kwamba tunapata umeme wetu wa TANESCO. Kuna issue nyingine allowance, zile nauli pamoja na chakula. Sasa yani tunavyoongea na nyie hivi, engineer ananipigia sana simu hapa nikachukua quotation za kufanya hizo kazi. Sababu tumeshawapatia watu, wameshatujazia zile quotation za kuzungusha uzio, za kujenga vyoo, ya kujenga sehemu ya kupumzikia. Tayari quotation zipo, na maana ikitoka hapa ni direct kwa nani? Kwa engineer. Ili hiyo kazi at least wiki hii tuimalizie kwa kufanya evaluation, tutafute huyo mtu, alafu next week kazi ifanyaje? Iweze kuanza. Kwa kuhusu hizo infrastructures na nini vyote vishakuwa solved. Kuhusiana na swala la allowance, ni masuala tu ya administration ambayo tunaendelea kumalizia na AKM GLITTERS, kwa sababu tunataka tuiattach pale kwenye ile contract yao ya kazi. Kwa hiyo lazima tufanye, kuna kitu kinaitwa addendum contract. Kwa hiyo lazima tumalize. Ni mambo ya administrative wao nafikiri hata hauhusu sana. Kwa hiyo tutamaliza tuna AKM, nafikiri kesho au kesho kutwa atakuwa ameshaipata hiyo nanili, ataingiziwa hizo pesa ili muweze kuanza kuishi vizuri.
Katika changamoto tulizoziongea, kuna changamoto ndogo ambayo na yenyewe ina ukubwa kwa kiasi chake. Tulikuwa tungependekeza au tungeomba mtupatie na first aid. Kwa sababu tunacheza na moto na sisi ni binadamu, kuna bahati mbaya. Kuna mtu anaweza kanyaga moto, chungu kikamwangukia. Kuna mtu usiku akaumwa na kichwa. Tungepatiwa first aid, tukajipatia kwa huduma ya kwanza, kwa sababu kidogo katika kundi la watu tuliopo kila mtu ana experience yake. Kwa hiyo tuna nursing hapa. Kwa hilo kidogo itasaidia. Asanteni.
Hiyo nao ni nzuri, tutaifanyia kazi. Tutaifanyia kazi. Hongereni kwa kuwa na nurse pia. Kaka hapa alikuwa na swali? Au ulikuwa unataka kujazia tu nyama?
Kujazia. Habari za size ndugu zangu. Naitwa Vivian Faustin Mtejeta, ni mmoja wa washiriki au wanufaika wa mradi huu. Kwa kuongezea pia tulikuwa tunahitaji incinerator kwa ajili ya kuchomea vifaranga, kwa sababu kwa sasa hivi vifaranga ambavyo vinakufa tunavichomea pale na sio salama. Nashukuru.
Sawa. Tabii tulifanyia nalo kazi. Tulikuwa tujampa mtu wa kuweza kufanya hiyo kazi. Tutalifanyia kazi. Any other issue? Huyu wa mwisho.
Habari za jioni. Kwa majina naitwa Kulthum Fadhili Yambi, ni mnufaika wa mradi huu. Tunashukuru, lakini kwa kuongezea tulikuwa tunaendelea kusubiria umeme wa TANESCO utufikie hapa. Tungeomba mtusaidie sola. Hapa tuna changamoto ya umeme kukatika mara kwa mara. Hii changamoto inatukwaza kwa sababu tunajitahidi kuwalea vifaranga vizuri, lakini ikifika usiku tuna sola bado ni ndogo. Unakuta tunazitumia, ila kukiwa na giza wale vifaranga wanakusanyika sehemu moja. Kwa hiyo inatokea maafa, unakuta hizo nini? Mortality rate zinaongezeka. Kwa hiyo kama itafaa kabla umeme kupatikana tungependa tukapata sola kubwa, sababu hizi kidogo tulizokuwa nazo kidogo tunapata changamoto. Asante.
Tumenunua sisi, tutaongeza tutaongeza hizo lights za solar, hilo la kwanza, lakini at the same time tumeshalipia umeme connection na tumeshalipia maji. Kwa hiyo kesho wanakuja Pregod yuko wapi huyo? Kesho wanakuja kuconnect maji na kesho wanakuja kuconnect umeme. Kwa hiyo tumepambana mno. Kwa hiyo kesho wanakuja kuconnect. Tutakuwa tuna hiyo hiyo. Kwa hiyo nilikuwa ndio na hiyo habari, na ndio maana ulikuwa unamuona kuna mtu wa AKM alikuwa hapa all the time. Kwa hiyo tumeshamaliza kila kitu, payments zimeshafanyika na kesho confirmed wanakuja kuweka umeme.
Unajua vitu vingine hivi ni vitu vidogo. Mfano issue ya umeme na maji tumeishughulikia tu kuanzia Alhamisi, lakini matokeo yake leo tumeshafanyaje? Watu wameshaanza kuja na kesho wanaanza hiyo kazi. Kwa vitu vingine kama tunavyoendelea kuimplement tutakuwa tunakutana changamoto. Si mna WhatsApp group? Madam si yupo. Na mimi mnaweza mkaniweka. Tunakuwa tunaona. Sawa? Tusisubiri hadi tukutane hivi, maana tutakutana lini tena hivi. Si ndio eh? Haya, asanteni.
Mimi kwa kusema laki na washukuru kwa uvumilivu wenu. Nimetiwa moyo na uvumilivu mliokuwa nao mmeacha vitanda vyenu, mmeacha nyumba zenu, alafu mmekuja kukaa hapa. Nawashukuru sana, na hiyo imetutia moyo sana sisi.
Ya, labda mimi kwa niaba ya AKM GLITTERS Company Limited niwashukuru sana Botnar'S kwa kutoa msaada huu wa kufadhili project hii inayoendelea hapa katika jiji la Tanga, na pia niwapongeze sana wanafunzi wetu ambao tunaendelea kuwanoa ili waje kuwa wanapo graduate waje kuwa wale wauzaji wakubwa wa kuku katika ukanda huu.
Sauti ya kilimo, mifugo na uvuvi.